Hey Browns fans, Nathan Zegura here with another special edition of the 2-Minute Drill brought to you by University Hospitals. We wrap up our division offseason preview series by taking a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had a very quiet offseason. Last year they went 8-8, and head coach Mike Tomlin entering his 14th season. Not a lot to do. Remember, they traded their first-round pick last year to get Minkah Fitzpatrick, and we'll talk about him in a moment. But really the big news for this team in the offseason is the return of Ben Roethlisberger. Certainly the big news on the offensive side of the ball. Roethlisberger, 144-71 as a starter, 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and really has been the face of this franchise for over a decade. They lost him in game 1 last year, missed the entire season, and really it derailed their season. Yes, they narrowly missed the playoffs because the defense played so well, but if they had Roethlisberger, you'd have to think they would have been a playoff team. Now, not only is Ben back, they also got him some weapons. This is a team that's been looking for that tight end ever since Heath Miller retired, that guy in the middle of the field, and they think they got it in a big-time free agent signing with Eric Ebron. Last year, no tight end on the team had more than 300 yards receiving, and now they get Ebron, who just 2 years ago, last year battled injuries, but 2 years ago in Indy had 750 yards and 13 touchdowns for the Colts. He could be a big factor in the middle of the field for this offense. Now, in the draft, they used their second-round pick, which was their first pick in this year's draft, on Chase Claypool, the big wide receiver out of Notre Dame, 6'4", who runs a 4.4 40, to try to get more weapons on the outside to complement Deontay Johnson, the speedster, and of course the incomparable Juju Smith-Schuster. They also added running back Anthony McFarland to help out James Conner. McFarland, a home run hitter out of Maryland. So really, that's it. A quiet offseason on the offensive side of the ball. Let's now take a look at what the Steelers did on the defense in 2020. The Steelers defense carried the team a year ago, and that's why they wanted to keep it largely intact. Not a whole lot of movement here, but the key was keeping that pass rush. Last year, the Steelers, 54 sacks. That led the NFL. Oh yeah, 20 interceptions. That led the NFL. They were a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks, and part of it was the duo of TJ Watt, who had 14.5 sacks, and Bud Dupree, who had a career-high 11.5 last year. The Steelers' priority one, keeping Dupree. They did that. They signed him to the franchise tag. Other than that, really some minor moves. They drafted linebacker Alex Highsmith in the 3rd round. Highsmith out of Charlotte, where he had 15 sacks in his senior year, sort of a pass rushing specialist. They also added Chris Wormley, the defensive lineman they acquired in a trade from the Baltimore Ravens, who figures to be a rotational piece for the Steelers. When it comes to big losses, really none on the offensive side of the ball, no full-time starters. On the defensive side of the ball, the only full-time starter, Javon Hargrave, that excellent nose tackle who was really a force in the middle of their defense. Did they address that head on? No, they did not, but they still feel this defense that has stars on the front. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, the linebacker, Devin Bush, the secondary, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Joe Hayden, who each had 5 interceptions. They feel very good about the defense there. But it's all about Ben and keeping Bud Dupree. That was really the focus of the offseason. That's what the Steelers have gotten accomplished. Now, as it relates to the Browns split with them last year, 1-1. The Browns winning the home game, the Steelers winning their home game. This year, it's Browns and Steelers week 6, and then week 17 at home in a game that we hope has big implications. It's the Browns and the Steelers at First Energy Stadium. For all the latest on your Browns, keep it tuned to clevelandbrowns.com and the Browns mobile app. This has been the 2-Minute Drill, brought to you by University Hospitals.